إنما حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل لغير الله به فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فإن الله غفور رحيم.
Dear brothers and sisters, have you ever felt curious about why Allah prohibits us from consuming pork? Some of us may live in countries where finding pork-based products and foods in the supermarket and restaurants is common. In these countries, dining out may become a challenge because halal-certified restaurants which do not serve pork-based foods are difficult to locate. Additionally, pork is an affordable red meat alternative for those in the lower income bracket. The production cost for pork is lower than for beef or mutton, and their reproduction and growth rates are high. It is no wonder that pig consumption has risen by 77% from 63.5 million tons in 1990 to 113 million tons in 2022 and become the second most consumed meat globally. With the current economic situation, people are seeking alternatives to reduce their living expenses, and pork appears to be the cheaper alternative in the red meat category. Is there any scientific evidence against eating pork if it's cheap and readily available to obtain? Parasites. Major meat-borne parasites include the protozoa, microscopic single-cell, Toxoplasma gondii and Cysticercosis spp, and the helminths that are visible to the naked eye in adult form, like Trichinella spp and Taenia spp. Only pork can be the source of all four of them. 1. Toxoplasma gondii. It is estimated that 30% to 50% of the world's population is infected with toxoplasmosis. Toxoplasmosis is one of the leading causes of death attributed to foodborne illnesses. Infection of Toxoplasma gondii can happen through consumption and be passed down through childbirth, congenital. The T. gondii oocysts are practically invisible with the naked eye, so people may not be aware that they have ingested it through drinking contaminated water or eating undercooked meat. Chemical treatment of water and meat cannot entirely inactivate T. gondii. Congenital toxoplasmosis was found in 1942. A baby born in 1938 died within a month after birth. The baby had a seizure 3 days after being born, and lesions were found inside her eyes. The post-mortem examination found out that the T. gondii had infected her brain and eyes. 4 years later, her illness was labeled as congenital toxoplasmosis. Other than death after birth, toxoplasmosis can also cause miscarriage and stillbirth in humans and animals. Toxoplasmosis can be symptomatic or asymptomatic. In symptomatic infections, signs include enlarged lymph nodes, headache, fever, sore throat, atypical pneumonia, retina scarring or affecting the central nervous system. 2. Trichinella spp. Trichinella lives inside animals that are predatory in nature, scavengers, and cannibalistic. Pigs satisfy 2 out of 3 criteria with their ability to eat almost everything, including rotten foods, carrion, and even their own kind. Pork is the main source of Trichinella infection worldwide. The pigs eat carcasses/raw meat, particularly rats, infested with Trichinella larvae. The larvae then grew into adult parasites inside the intestine. The female pumped out new larvae, which flow into the muscles, organs, and brain. They remain in the infective stage, ready to be consumed by other hosts. Humans got infected by consuming undercooked pork and pork products with these live larvae. Trichinosis is a disease caused by Trichinella spp. With various symptoms such as diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, severe lesions, myocarditis, heart muscle inflammation, and encephalitis, brain inflammation. It was only in the 1860s that medical professionals could establish a link between Trichinella, undercooked pork, and fatalities. 3. Taenia spp. The tapeworm can cause taeniosis and cysticercosis. In taenosis, the tapeworm grows inside the intestine, and the host becomes a distributor of tapeworm eggs. Meanwhile, cysticercosis is a far more severe disease, as the cysticerci invade the brain. This illness contributes to 1/3 of epilepsy cases in endemic regions. While teinosis's cause is limited to consumption of undercooked meat, cysticercosis may come from direct contact with tapeworm carriers, including contaminated water and food or self-infection due to poor sanitation. What is intriguing is that tapeworm in cows, Taenia saginata, will not cause cysticercosis, while tapeworm in pigs, Taenia solium, will. This phenomenon is because when T. solium reaches the brain, it can lower the host's immune response to it and preserve its life. While taeniosis has been recognized since ancient times, it took a lot more time to discover cysticercosis. In the 16th to 17th centuries, research found a link between T. solium and cysticercosis. Human cysticercosis infection through ingestion of larvae-infested pork only came to light in the 19th century. Hepatitis E virus. HEV genotypes 3 and 4 are zoonotic, and pigs frequently become reservoirs for HEV. Human transmission of HEV was first identified in the 2000s after consumption of raw/undercooked meat of swine, boar, and deer. Additionally, the liver was found to be the main site of the virus. Cases of infection in Europe were found after the consumption of commercially sold processed pork products. There are two factors which facilitate the transmission: heating and cross-contamination. Inactivation of HEV requires a heating process of 70 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. This prolonged heating may significantly change the texture and taste of the food products. As such, HEV can survive after common cooking processes that lack heat or duration. Moreover, one processed pork product may combine several pigs. One contaminated piece of pork can cross-contaminate other pork used in the mix. Consequently, a processing or cooking step can facilitate the spread of HEV. To conclude, pigs have a high risk of becoming the hosts of transmittable parasites and viruses. Although they do not exclusively come from swine, swine are nonetheless their primary reservoir. Some may be asymptomatic, but others may pose a high health risk or even death risk, especially to vulnerable groups like pregnant women. You may think that it is fine as long as you cook the pork fully to kill the parasites and virus. Still, are you sure you have killed them all? Are you sure you are ready to bear the health consequences in the future? Are you sure this is a worthy enough risk to take just to reduce your cost of living or achieve a more convenient lifestyle? Allah's prohibition was known in the 600s. Meanwhile, the linkage between these diseases and pork consumption was identified in the 19th century or even the 21st century for HEV. Imagine the countless lives lost, as doctors remained helpless, unable to unravel the mystery until centuries later. Reflect on how faith has unknowingly protected billions of us Muslims from these diseases. Truly, Allah knows what is best for us.